All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome back. It's Tuesday. It's another hot day here. T-shirt weather. It's cooler than yesterday. Hopefully, you're where you are. The weather is nice as well. It's nice to have some summer as people roll in here. It'd be interesting to see how the channel goes over the summer. I think a lot of people go on vacation, take time off. Well, kids are still in school, but when that comes, I'm going to take a vacation. I know that. I'll take a week off at one point. But good to have everybody here. If you're watching, coming in live, thanks for tuning in. It's great to have you here live. If you're watching on the replay, thank you as well. Don't forget, like the stream, subscribe, all that good YouTube stuff helps out. And if you want to join us live, we go Monday to Friday, 8 o'clock to about 8:45, sometimes more, sometimes less, just to see how the day goes. We talk about investing, TFSAs, the market, what the heck is happening, and then wherever the conversation takes us, it's all about the you and the coffee crew. So let's see who's here today. And now Candace has been beat twice this week so far. Paul, good morning, good to have you here. Hopefully you're doing well. I've got my coffee. I don't know what everybody's drinking today. I was making coffee this morning, and it's almost like should be iced coffee day. It's warm out there. Maybe some iced tea later to get that going. And Candace is here. Always good to have you back, Candace, on the mend, which is good. And looking forward to more videos on your channel as always, which is great. Coffee and a donut. And Stan, good morning. Good to have you here. Hopefully your day is going well. And let's get that joke. This is a good one, actually, Candace. I laughed at this one. How does a beaver react when his stocks go down? He says, "Damn it, I should have diversified." Good call. That's a good one. That's actually some good advice right there. Diversify. Excellent. In terms of diversification, trying to get there too as well. Obviously, adding XEQT in my portfolio, trying to keep most companies under 5% of their portfolio. That's kind of where it is. I think I'm a little bit over in Tesla right now, but that's okay. And Nadia, good morning. Good to have you here. Sunny day. MC, welcome back. Missed you yesterday, but good to have you here. Awesome. That is so good. And Sharma's here. Sharma, good morning. And MC's planning my vacation campaign in August, 1 week per month from August to December. That would be nice. That's a good way to call it, a vacation campaign. Good call. I will be taking, I have nothing planned, MC, for me, like not to go anywhere, really anything. Probably go over to the mainland, visit my mom at some point. Probably go for a week. That's kind of the plan. But right now, kind of busy with work, so sticking around close to home. But 1 week per month from August to December would be nice. That's for sure. Vacation campaign. I'm going to use that one. And Dank Magic, good morning. Smoky in Calgary. Yeah, I read that on the news. There's quite a lot of forest fires. It seems like it's early this year too. We've been lucky here. Nothing yet, from what I understand. I mean, obviously where I am, I'm right by the ocean, but it's nothing here right now. So hopefully we have an okay year. It can get pretty ugly sometimes. And I saw that some of that bit on the news in Alberta with the fires. So stay inside and keep the doors and windows closed. I remember when I was in Calgary, Dank Magic, it was probably a good week or so where you couldn't even open just to go outside was hard to breathe, and you couldn't even you'd have to leave the windows, everything closed, so you don't breathe that all in, and it would be the sky would be like, it was like orange, literally orange. It was I remember, actually it was right around when I remember it was when the Olympics were on, because I went out to take pictures of the Calgary Tower when they lit the flame for when the Olympics were on, for the opening ceremonies. And it was like you could barely see the sky. It was like gray. And we would have nice pictures. It was a nice clear sky, but it was dull, really, really gray and dull, really, really, really gray and smoky. Yeah. Stay inside. It's not good to kind of breathe all that in. If you have air conditioning or something, put the air conditioning on, keep the doors closed, and try not to breathe that all in. There we go. All right. So bit of news today. Vic rolled in. I was thinking as I was coming onto the stream, Vic, and seeing everybody rolling in, I was thinking to myself, I haven't seen Vic for a while. Hopefully you're well. Good to have you here. Good you made it. Some news today. So if you haven't seen it yet, I posted it actually just before going on live. I filmed a cool, really super quick video this morning because it popped up last night when I was reading and checking out what was happening over on Blossom on my phone. And Wealthsimple has a new kind of, I guess it's a beta feature because it's not apparently out for everybody yet, but I checked in my account and they have a new feature now where you can turn it on in your self-directed account. You can turn on a dividend reinvestment. So I'm going to assume that's going to work for ETFs and for company shares that have fractional share purchases. And what it will do is, and Vic called it their drip. Yeah, drip, drip, drip. Not kind of officially a drip, but more like obviously dividend reinvesting. It will turn on. So I have a video on my channel. You can check that out after. It's only like a minute and a half, not too long, and shows you how to turn it on and check if it's on your account. So it works for self-directed TFSAs, RSPs, and for if you have a non-registered account, it'll be on there as well. So from my understanding, it's still kind of in beta. It's not rolled out to everybody. I do have the options that I had signed up for, so maybe it's part of that. But it's a start. So dividend, it's not like totally drip Candace, but next closest thing. So there we go. I don't know if you have that in your account yet, Candace, if you checked it out, but it's there for some people, anyways. Yeah. The Olympic torch. Oh, MC, you were down in Vancouver, down by the water. The Olympic torch needs a bit of refurbishing. I haven't been down there in years. Probably does. I remember seeing in the news a little while ago, part of it got broken. The glass got broken. I don't know if it's still got the fountain working. It's like one of these things, they build it and then it doesn't necessarily last, right? There's a fountain in there and it just kind of then it sits there. And if it's not, I mean, obviously it's expensive to run and they don't run it all the time, just for certain events and stuff like that. But haven't been down to the waterfront lately. I should ask my friend was actually in Vancouver recently from Ontario, and I should ask him if what he saw, what it looks like down there. It's been, since I've been downtown, MC, it's probably been over 5 years at this point now. So. And Jerks Beef, good morning. Everybody's rolling in today. That's awesome. That's all good. Make sure everybody hits that like on as you roll in there. And for TD, so for TD investing, you still need to phone in to enable the drip. That's like so old school. This one, I mean, with Wealthsimple to turn on dividend reinvesting, MC, you just have to flick a little button and it turns on. I'll turn it on my account because obviously the ones that I get my dividends from, I typically put them right back into the same ETF or share. So it'll turn it on, give it a try. So obviously it'll be next month before it kind of happens. Then I'll have to kind of keep an eye on what dividends come through still to be able to post them on the channel. Because I will normally just roll them right in automatically anyways. So it's either way. Candace, you are on a health kick, mostly to stay alive, reduce stress, eat right, exercise. You have to. That's what I kind of did starting a couple of years ago, Vic, as well. Stop drinking, doing all the bad stuff, eating properly, not eating junk food, not eating out, trying to be healthy as possible, cutting out certain things in my diet, that kind of stuff. So yeah, you kind of get a wake up call when you turn 40 in your 40s, that you have to kind of start paying attention a bit more. So CBIL, I haven't heard of that one. Vic, maybe someone in the chat does. So it's a purpose product in Canada to get treasuries. Okay, with 4.2% yield. So okay, interesting. There's also the PSA is in there too, probably a similar yield. I haven't heard of that one. But maybe someone, if someone's watching, has it or knows, fire away in a comment and help Vic out. And I'm going to try and pronounce your name. Avalanche Ilongo. I think that's right. What do I think about Questrade? I don't have Questrade. I just have Wealthsimple. Sorry. I just use Wealthsimple for my TFSA self-directed investing. Don't have Questrade. I've looked at it. I don't know if anybody else, again, the coffee crew, help us out if anybody has Questrade. I'm trying to think if anybody does that I know for sure. I know, Candace, you have Wealthsimple and you have it's National Bank, I believe. So I don't know who has Questrade. Maybe Vic. But yeah, can't speak for that. But if anybody can help, that's what we're here for. But that actually segues into the bit of news I had here to pull up. So let's obviously, well, first one, let's get this out of the way, because it does talk about investing. So Desjardins, Vic has no fee investing. That's right, they do. Same with National Bank, and that takes us, Vic. It's perfect because it comes up to and you use Mogo, RBC, and Wealthsimple Trade. Okay, here we go. Let's pull this up. Hopefully this works. It does work. Screen share. There we go. So this actually segues really well with asking about Quest Trade and RBC and all this other stuff. Canadians unsatisfied with DIY investing options, according to a survey, and obviously there's a big rise in DIY investing. Obviously, probably everybody that watches this live stream in the channel is a DIY investor like me, for a portion, at least for a portion of their investments. So overall satisfaction with DIY investing option kind of came in an average of 498 out of 1,000 points. So with 3 of the 8 companies scoring above the average. So apparently people aren't too happy with what the DIY investing is. So it's less than the average satisfaction score for full service investing. But this was interesting. It kind of ranks them in. So 40% of the 2,243 Canadian investors surveyed said they had less than a seamless experience with their investing brokerages, pushing customers to shop around for investing options. Seems like that's what people are doing by asking these questions. Still, the top reason why Canadians switch firms is the high cost of fees, with 30% citing it to be is the main reason for consumers ditching existing firms. And per service was cited by 13% of the respondents. So it actually breaks it down here. The 3 top ones, way down here. Desjardins is these are the rankings, JD Power and Associates. So this is a score of 1,000. Desjardins was 692. National Bank Direct Brokerage, 645. Quest Trade, there you go, 626. Then it goes down RBC, Direct Investing, CIBC's Investor Edge, TD Direct, Scotia iTrade, and then BMO Investor Line. Wealthsimple's not on there. It's obviously market share partly too. So the studies were selected based on market share. So obviously these are mostly the big banks that are in that list. But there you go. I did find that interesting. I'm always wondering too if people that are doing any kind of self-directed investing are mad at it partly because of if their portfolio is down. I bet you if they did this survey when it was a great market, people would probably be happier with where they are. But that I did find interesting. For me, the reason for switching to Wealthsimple was as people know, was for fees, because I do have my Lira over in the robo-advisor side of Wealthsimple, and the fees are less than half every month what I was paying before. So happy about that. That was basically the reason for me switching to Wealthsimple, and then got into starting a self-directed TFSA as well. So MC, anybody that has a question can probably answer this. Is Phil? I'll read the rest of your comment because part of it got cut off. I believe it's free. So for Quest Trade, I believe it's free to buy ETFs, but not free to sell. So it probably depends on your investing approach and strategy to determine which platform is best for you in terms of cost. Yeah, that's basically it. Wealthsimple and Quest Trade are probably the most popular, cheaper platforms. It would also have to do with maybe like if you're doing U.S. shares and all that kind of stuff with the difference in them, obviously, because Wealthsimple, you do pay the fee if you're converting, if you don't have the paid account to do US shares and conversions and all that kind of stuff. They have to make their money somehow, but I've been happy with it. I don't see any point in changing. And I know someone that did switch from Wealthsimple to Quest Trade, like transferred their stocks over. It was a pretty seamless experience. I couldn't tell you if they were happier or not with that. I really don't know, but that was just what they decided to do. And Vic, not happy with the bear market. I could see that, right? Because you're always happy. You're always happier when you're looking at your portfolio and it's in the green, no matter, I think, where it would be, you'd be happy. But it's drilling down and looking at, and especially maybe important if the market's not doing well. Both, it's always important, but check on the fees, because if if that's eating into your profit, or increasing your loss because of these fees every month, when you start add them up, it can be quite substantial. I know with my Lira, it was a huge amount, what I was paying, every, basically more than half I saved by switching it over. And the investment's doing okay. It's not, I mean, it's, considering the market, it's fine, but yeah, life was great in 2021, right? You could just put money in anything and it would go up. You didn't have to even pay. Well, I shouldn't say you didn't have to pay attention. You should pay attention, but it was definitely interesting times, that's for sure. But now, yeah, most possibly are down. It's yeah, it is. It's what happens, right? It seems like yeah, we are. It seems like a long bear market. So 16 months. Yeah, it's almost like this like giant bear market that's been. Are we slowly grinding out? I think we are. I think we are a little bit. It feels like it a little bit, because if you look at things longer term in your portfolio, it seems to have kind of inched back some gains. I mean, I can't speak for everybody's portfolio, but I think with the shares and ETFs that I was dollar cost averaging into this whole time and just kept with the plan, it's recovered, right? It's so it just kind of shows being consistent will hopefully pay off in the long run. But it's definitely a grind. Believe me, it's definitely a grind. I mean, it goes both ways, right? You want it to always go up, and then you look at the prices and you're like, oh, I wish it was back here, and so you can't win. The psychology of investing is sometimes just the worst part of it, because you're up, then you're disappointed you didn't buy more, and if you're down, you're disappointed you should have waited, and it's such a emotional trip along the way. You just have to kind of be consistent and try not to overthink things. That's the hardest part, right? Yeah. Good call. Good call. Yeah, you can't badmouth or fire your advisor if you are DIY. That's for sure. That's you've only got yourself to blame. But I think that comes. I mean, even if you have someone that's your advisor, you still should be doing. You should still be doing a lot of research and figuring out where your money's going and what you're paying and fees, especially, and if it's the right thing for you, because you want to make sure you kind of get in the right investments that you can handle the ups and downs. And in case of now, like MC said, like a 16-month bear market, you have to be able to stomach those for long term. If you're investing, don't put I don't know, don't invest everything. Obviously, we say it before, don't put everything in one basket. Don't invest more than you think. If you think you're going to need the money within 3 years, probably not a good idea to put it in any kind of equity type of thing. But yeah, if it's that, and that's it. Yeah, none of us here are the next Warren Buffett. It's true. It's just dollar cost average in the index, hold 20 years, and don't even look at it. That's what you did years ago. Suffer from, yeah. You learn the hard way, but you have to learn, right? And everybody I think goes through the process, right? And I think that's part of. I mean, I did. There's still speculative stocks I want to add to for sure, but that comes down to a bit of gamble as well, but not all of my portfolio by any means. And you have to kind of look at your whole picture and what you're invested in with everything before you kind of make any decisions. But sometimes, like you said, Vic, like does dollar cost average and for the next 20 years into an index fund, and you'd probably be fine, in the long term. Yeah. And that's it. The best time to add money is when it's down. It's all perspective. It's just time, having the time frame, and we'll be looking back, right? I'd like to think this will still be going in 20 years. I think, I hopefully will have met my the goal of the balance of my TFSA before 20 years. But if we're still going, we'll look back and go, okay, we'll pull back these live streams and go, 2023 and 2022 was terrible, but there was also opportunity there, and in the long term it paid off. So it's some perspective, is that exactly. But you always want things to move faster. That's the big thing. You get used to these. Back in 2020, 2021, these big jumps and everything going up all the time and big gains and all this kind of stuff. And now we're seeing the opposite, right? And it's just getting brought back down to earth and getting more realistic. If all this recession talk makes you wonder if we're going to crash hard. This is the big question, right? This is the big question. If we're going to crash harder, maybe we are in the crash. I don't know. It's that. Who knows? I think we are. I don't know. It's really hard to know. I think anything could happen. We've got lots coming up. So another article that we can pull up as well, that I had pulled up for today, Trixie, which kind of goes with this, is let's pull this up. So the CPI in Canadian came out today, so it's up. Let me just remove your comment. It's up, increased in April to 4.4%. So first acceleration since June 2022. So a bit of a surprise for people because had been coming down, but it was expected to come down. To be about 4.1. What they're saying, the mortgage and rent costs were the rise in April. But there we go. So it's like we just really don't know what the heck is going to happen. This will maybe give the Bank of Canada some fuel to see what happens next rate announcement, which is in June, I believe. But we'll have to see. I think this is what we're going to be in for a little while. I think inflation's not going to just come roaring back down. I don't think we're going to have these times where it's like up and down and sideways and all this kind of stuff. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see what happens. I really don't know. There's always, you see, like what Jerk said, with people like predicting a big crash. There's always the super sky is falling people out there. So you have to really watch what you read and what you kind of follow. Because it's easy to get caught up in that space and be nervous. You have to really kind of, I think, just stick with the plan. That's the best advice, is just stick with your dollar cost averaging. If you're budgeting for something, just carry on, just do the same thing. And then you can ride out any of those waves along the way. So Vic had Shopify only 75, only to watch it go higher, but nice profit. It's nothing wrong with taking profit, Vic. I sold the other day, last Friday, my Google yield shares. They were up decently. So just took it off. That's something I'm trying to get better at, and I can always buy them again if I want to, but made a bit of profit on there, and was happy about that, and just not gonna look at it or anything right now, and just be happy with what I made, And so MC, 100 shares sold at 350, and then it went to 2,000. There's absolutely no way you can tell what's going to happen. The only thing that's guaranteed is usually when I buy something, it goes down. That's the only guarantee. All joking aside. And that's the thing. Recessions are usually like when it actually gets mentioned, right, and acknowledged. It's like we're kind of almost out of it. So I think they're not. It's not like instantly. We're not called live. It's not like instantly all of a sudden, hey, it's a recession today. It's called, and it's like a year later. Yeah, it's true. And we could be out of it by the time it's called. I think we're kind of, it's such an interesting time out there, right? Like there's layoffs, right? There's layoffs happening, but like things are still, it's just, you go to stores and everything else, and it's just like busy, and it's like, it's hard. It's just a really weird thing right now. So it's hard to know. This feels a lot like the '08 crash. Yeah, I could see that a little bit, but it's, I don't know. No, I don't. And I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go with MC on this one. I wouldn't say the same. Yeah, the economy is humming along so far this year. That's the thing. Like everything's still like, it's busy out there, right? Housing market in Canada's picked up. We haven't had huge layoffs. Are those coming? I don't know. It's so hard to kind of know. It's so hard to kind of know what happened, but it's easy to get wound up in the doom and gloom, right? So I try not to. I try and be more like the half glass, half glass full instead of half glass empty, and try and look at it as a positive. Like if something in my core, my core holdings that I'm not looking to necessarily buy any new shares or anything on anything, and I just if the prices are down, I'm just going to carry on. So it'll be interesting to see. I think there'll be maybe a bit more. I don't want to say clarity. It's kind of hard to know. It's been such a weird year or 16 months now. We have the U.S. debt ceilings coming up, so that's causing all these weird things, and it's this it's that's coming up. So we'll maybe have some clarity with what the heck the direction is going into in June, if they can figure this. They always figure out the debt ceiling, but it's a matter of how soon before the deadline, that causes people apprehension in that. But we'll have to see what really happened. If Shopify had gone that high, I could put my down payment to condo instead of mom's basement. Yeah, well, that's okay. It's okay to live in the. I live with my mom too. That's okay. And Vic had the same thought with Yosher. So Vic, yeah, I still have the Tesla. I'll hang on to those. The dividend's still quite good. But Google was, the Google ones were up. The dividend was, still good, but for the distribution on that one. But I thought, what I'm going to take, I was up about 25% on it. So I figured, hey, I'm going to take that money and I just put it into XEQT. So I think I was up. I made about $100. So $100 is $100. So don't remember the 2008 call because you never looked at your portfolio. Well, so that's such a different time back then. We didn't have the phone to be able to check literally instantly our portfolios and panic, right? But that was the same. I had investments as well, but you'd get your quarterly statements, and by the time you got your quarterly statement, the damage was already done. So things have definitely changed from technology, just from that time, but. Just a random guess. You might speculate Q4 2023 to Q2 2024 could have layoffs across different companies. Even then, probably not '08 levels. '08 had a very dark days for the economy. We'll probably see some. We'll probably see some more layoffs for sure. It just takes time, I think, to kind of roll through the system. I remember '08 as well with layoffs. Yeah, I was where I worked. I was in the hotel business. I worked in a hotel, so hospitality. And of course, everybody stopped traveling. There was no more business travel and no more conferences, and it was it was tough there. There were some layoffs. I was fortunate enough that I wasn't impacted hugely on it, but there was people that I worked with that they did lay off. And a restaurant, because there's in the hotel there was a few restaurants, so some of the restaurants closed at certain closed down fully, just because there was no business, right? So of course servers, managers, kitchen staff, then of course it goes through the whole, but everywhere, right? Room service and housekeeping, So it was tough. Yeah, it was tough. I remember that. I was down to less hours. So people would take less hours, so more people could work and that kind of stuff. So, but you get through it, right? You always get through it. But it was, and Candace, we're kind of talking about inflation. You must have just missed it. Not paying attention. It's okay, not paying attention. But no, it up 4.4%. So up again, up. Yeah, we'll see what happens. I think we'll be up. We'll be up and down like this probably for the next little while, probably. We need to discuss the emotional or behavior. Yeah. It definitely is. It definitely is emotional, Vic. That's for sure, and behavioral, because you want stuff to move faster, and you question yourself. You have your hand over the button all the time. One thing I've found with doing the live streams and be able to do polls and have comments come through, it's helped me with investing with a little bit of that, but it definitely is. It definitely is emotional for sure. And I have both. Self-directed is definitely more, stressful, emotional than doing the robo-advisor side. So if people are kind of on the fence, it's probably better to, start on a side that takes a lot of the work off and takes that emotion out of it, because you kind of just make your deposit and it does its thing, and you don't have to think too much about it. But Maybe robots would be better, or your ex. Yes, that's bad. Speaking of robots, so there's a Twitter account I follow, and it's just started. They've actually kind of hacked ChatGPT to create a portfolio with different shares, and there's I've just kind of started following on Twitter. I found it kind of interesting, and they're trying to get AI to pick stocks. They have a portfolio you can follow kind of along, and you. Obviously, it's not telling you to invest anything, but you can follow along their portfolio. So what the AI will suggest to buy, they will be holding it for, I think, a certain period of time, and then they're going to be selling, and then there'll be new stocks to kind of purchase at the time, and see how it goes. So I find that interesting. Maybe the robots can do better than we can too. Yeah, that's what I found. I have my positions MC that I do want to add to, but I've basically switched, to kind of take some of that away, is into the index, right? And it's just whether you're putting it. I mean, you can split it up and do VDY, VFE, something like that. But if you have XEQT is one I've started, and it's just kind of like you put the weekly money in. Things may change in a year or so, but I'm happy with that now because it's systematic. It takes the emotion out. It makes for a boring portfolio probably to maybe follow along and watch sometimes because the movements aren't the same. But it's a good call. Ignorance is bliss, and knowing that in the long run, it's sticking with it, right? Definitely sticking. Definitely sticking with the long term. So that's kind of that's where the majority of my investment in my TFSA is in ETFs and XQT like 60% or more. If I'd have to look at it again, is in those. So it's pretty happy with that. And in an individual, it's completely different. Yeah, it's definitely causes you more stress. And you started before, yeah. So now you're mostly invested in index, so hardly even care too much since it's relatively boring. It is kind of it is. I mean, it's not, I shouldn't say it's boring, but it's just not as exciting. You just put it in and you let it do its thing, and it's gonna work. And like you said, yeah, it's pretty bland investment. Bland being a compliment. It's true. It is what it is, right? And it's kind of like you're covering the entire globe. Like you said, essentially you're betting on the world economy. When you start inflating factors, the less bland you become. It's a pretty vanilla. You're not having to overthink it. That's the big thing. Because I mean, for me, part of the reason of choosing XEQT is I wanted to diversify outside of North America. But then you have to go, if you decide to do that, you have to go and then look at what the heck you want to buy if you want to get ETFs and everything else. And then you just kind of think, that's a lot of work. And a lot of these underlying ETFs are in XEQT, so that I would probably be buying anyways. So it's like, why not put them in there because they have the allotments that are working. And it seems to work so far. So I don't know. That's so far. Oh, nice. You have an extra 90. So Tour de Mine gave another special dividend dropping. Do they have, I guess, news today? There you go. Awesome. So anybody that owns Tour de Mine, another special dividend dropping $150 a share would be nice. $1.50 per share. That's awesome. It's always nice to get those dividends. That's one thing that's nice about, getting outside of, like, say, ETFs. ETFs, some of them pay monthly, right? VDY pays monthly, so it's kind of nice to get those monthly dividends. It gives you kind of a perk in your portfolio, as opposed to like you're not gonna get the same, if you get the quarterly ones from XEQT, it's at least I find the monthly one. That's why I'm gonna keep VDY because it's nice to kind of get those. It just kind of gives you that little boost that something's working. And that's the thing, you really need to start paying attention to these quarterly results, company news. But then, see, this is the problem too, is you get the company news, I read it, and you're like, oh, that's pretty good, and then all of a sudden it's not so good for whatever reason, right? It can be frustrating, right? Where with that kind of stuff. it's with the index, yeah, you just don't need to pay attention to that kind of stuff. It'll reallocate as needed and that kind of thing with your investments. That's why I've actually been pretty happy with, like, even with on the Wealthsimple robo-advisor side with my Lira, and I have my RSP there, and I just do my RSP. I do a deposit every couple weeks. It's like super boring. There's nothing to even really check. You just kind of let it do its thing, and then at the end of the year, you download your tax receipts. It's just kind of like you set it and forget it. Super boring, like even more so boring. You'd like to see it go up, obviously, but it's doing okay. But it just kind of shows with the dollar cost averaging, it just kind of eventually you're up. That's the main thing. So boring is good. We talk about it a lot. We've talked about it a few times about boring investments. So it's but it's also fun to bet on certain, you're gambling on certain things for, if you can afford to have a little bit of play money, that's fun too, right? You learn from mistakes. You might make something one time, you might lose it, but as long as you don't put everything in that, all in on something that you really speculative, then I think that's okay too, because you do have to have fun. You have to learn. You only learn from really mistakes, right? And yeah, it's too much control can get you in trouble, right? Because you get the whole FOMO. FOMO comes in, and chasing something or selling something at the wrong time, the right time, maybe selling something at the wrong time, probably more likely. You always have that. You always have that story back talking what Shopify, right? Is like, I bought it, X price, I sold it at this price, and then it went up to this price. And it's like, if you had no one really kind of necessarily says that with these index ETFs. It's like, no one kind of, you're not really trading them the same. You're just buying them. And that's kind of it. Obviously that will shift into different investments as you get older. But it's sometimes nice not to have to pay too much attention to things. That's for sure. It's okay to be boring if you're investing there, Vic. There we go. Good conversation today, everybody. Thanks. This is always good. If you're watching and haven't hit the like button, and hit that like button. It's always nice to help out the channel. Good to have everybody here enjoying these. It's great when everybody's chatty, because it makes the live stream go obviously a lot quicker, because we're almost to 20 to 9 already, so we'll start to roll towards the end. But definitely really appreciate it. Nothing wrong with boring. It's true. I think my portfolio is kind of turning into probably a boring portfolio, but that's okay. With my TFSA, yeah. Did you say you invested in Shopify? Yeah. Maybe she would have changed her mind. That's too funny. That's one I never bought. I never bought with Shopify, or directly. If you don't ever do. Well, yeah. For people that are watching, don't do a research. We always say do your own research on buying stocks. With cash. Definitely do a lot more research before you put anything on. Before you borrow to put on anything. It's be careful out there. Not recommended. That's for sure. And we're gonna matchmaking now with Vic and Candace. I think Candace is taken. I think I'll spend what I save on rent on a date. There you go. I think there's a crush there somewhere, Candace, if you're watching. YouTube crush. All right, everybody. Coming up to the end here, as we turn into matchmakers. Thanks for tuning in. It's always appreciated. We'll be back. We will be back again with the next live stream. It's always good to have everybody join in and see how we're doing. We talk about our boring investments, which is always good. I've got a tractor working outside here that's driving me crazy. Hopefully, it's not too loud. I don't know what they're doing out there, but gardening or something like that, digging up the street. We'll be back tomorrow for the next one. I'll get it scheduled. Again, if you haven't watched that video, I just posted a video. It's under 2 minutes. go give it a watch if you want to see if you can turn on dividend reinvesting on your Wealthsimple accounts. One way to kind of make life more boring with your investments, and maybe turn that on if that's what you're wanting to do with your dividends. There we go. Thanks everybody. We'll catch you all in the next one. Thanks for all the comments, and we'll be on tomorrow. Cheers.